Say this prayer before sleep. It could change everything. This is the moment that shapes tomorrow, right now. The day is finally quiet. The lights are low. Your body is slowing down, but your mind refuses to follow. Conversations replay. Decisions second-guess themselves. Things you meant to say, things you wish you had done differently, things you still do not know how to fix. The world has gone silent, but your thoughts are wide awake. Night has a way of doing that. During the day, movement keeps you distracted. Noise keeps you functional. Tasks give you a sense of control. But now, control fades. The to-do list is finished or abandoned. There is nothing left to solve tonight, yet your heart keeps trying. Your body wants rest, but your inner world is still carrying the weight of the day. This is usually when people scroll, distract, or numb themselves until sleep finally takes over. Not because they want entertainment, but because being alone with their thoughts feels heavier than being tired. And maybe that is where you are right now. Not anxious enough to panic, not calm enough to rest, just awake, thinking, holding things you did not resolve before the day ended. What makes this moment important is not how tired you are, it is how open you are. At night, defenses lower, pretending stops. The questions you push aside during the day come back without asking permission. Did I do enough? Did I say the right thing? What if tomorrow looks the same? What if I am still carrying this weeks from now? These thoughts are not signs of weakness. They are signs that something inside you is asking to be acknowledged. This moment is not random. It happens to people who care, people who try, people who carry responsibility quietly. When the world finally stops demanding from you, your heart finally speaks. And if you ignore it, it will wait for the next night and the next. Because unprocessed weight does not disappear with sleep. It waits for silence. That is why what you do right now matters. Not tomorrow morning, not after things change. Right now, before your eyes close, before your mind keeps negotiating with problems you cannot solve at this hour, before you carry today into tomorrow without ever laying it down. This is not about fixing your life tonight. It is about how you enter rest. Because the way you fall asleep often determines how you wake up, carrying peace or carrying pressure, carrying trust or carrying tension, carrying hope or carrying exhaustion. If you have ever gone to sleep tired and woken up already tired, this is why. Not because you did not sleep long enough, but because your heart never rested. Rest is not only physical, it is spiritual, it is emotional. It is the ability to stop holding what you were never meant to carry alone through the night. So before you fall asleep, pause here. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need answers. You do not need to be strong. You just need to be present, because this quiet moment right before sleep shapes more than you realize. Before you fall asleep, this matters more than you think. Night is when faith often feels heaviest, not because something new appears, but because everything hidden during the day comes back into view. During daylight, you manage, you adapt, you stay busy enough to believe you are holding things together. But when the noise fades, so does the illusion of control. What you avoided thinking about all day quietly returns. Distractions disappear at night. There is no one asking for anything, no tasks demanding attention, no conversations pulling you outward. And without those buffers, your mind turns inward. Questions resurface. Unfinished prayers rise back up. The things you told yourself you would deal with later now have space to speak. Control also fades in this moment. You cannot make phone calls. You cannot fix conversations. You cannot move circumstances forward. The limits of your influence become obvious. And for many people, that is when faith feels most fragile. Not because they stopped believing, but because believing without control feels exposed. This is also when prayers you thought you had made peace with return, not loudly but persistently. The request you stopped mentioning. The situation you stopped expecting to change. the hope you told yourself you had released. Night reveals what the day helped you ignore. It brings honesty without permission. That is why people often feel more anxious, more reflective, or more discouraged at night. It is not because night creates fear, it reveals it. It strips away distractions and leaves you face to face with what is unresolved. And unresolved things do not ask for attention politely. They simply wait until you are quiet enough to hear them. Understanding this changes how you see your nighttime thoughts. They are not interruptions, they are signals. Signals that something needs release, not more analysis. Something needs trust, not more effort. Something needs to be placed somewhere safer than your own exhausted mind. This is why what you do before sleep matters, not because you need a ritual, but because night is when your heart is most honest. And what you do with that honesty determines whether you carry tension into rest or peace into tomorrow. This is why what you do before sleep matters. What most people never realize is that sleep does not erase what the heart never released. It only pauses it. You close your eyes, your body shuts down, but whatever you carried into the night often waits for you in the morning. That is why some days begin already heavy. Not because anything bad has happened yet, but because yesterday was never put down. There is a quiet carryover between nights and mornings. Emotional residue, thoughts that never found rest, worries that were managed but not surrendered. You may sleep for hours and still wake up tired, not physically but internally. Your mind feels foggy. Your spirit feels drained. It is not a lack of sleep. It is unfinished weight. When the heart does not release, it holds. And what it holds shapes how you wake up. You wake up guarded. You wake up already bracing for the day. You wake up with a low-level tension you cannot fully explain. That tension often comes from carrying yesterday into today without realizing it. This is especially true spiritually. When prayers remain open but unattended, they linger. Not in a healthy, hopeful way, but in a suspended state. Your faith does not rest, it stays alert, and an alert heart never fully recovers overnight. Over time, this creates spiritual fatigue. You begin the day already behind, already tired, already needing strength you have not yet used. This is not meant to create fear, it is meant to create clarity. If mornings feel heavier than they should, it may not be because of what tomorrow holds. It may be because of what last night never released. Rest is not just about sleep. It is about closure. And closure does not mean answers. It means surrender. When you learn to release before sleep, mornings change. Not magically, not dramatically, but quietly. You wake up with a little more space inside. A little more calm, a little less pressure. The problems may still be there, but they are no longer sitting on your chest. Sleep does not reset what the heart never released, and that is why what comes next matters. Because the prayer you are about to hear is not meant to fix your life. It is meant to close the day, so tomorrow does not begin with yesterday's weight. Most prayers people say at night are rushed, a habit, a routine, words spoken while already half asleep, still holding on to everything from the day. This one is different. Not because the words are special, but because the intention is. This prayer is not asking God to fix everything before morning. It is not listing problems. It is not negotiating outcomes. It is about release. Throughout the day, you pick things up without noticing. Responsibilities, conversations, expectations, worries that attach themselves quietly. By night, your hands are full, even if you cannot name everything you are holding. Most prayers add more weight by revisiting it all again. This prayer does the opposite. It creates an ending. This is not a religious habit meant to make you feel disciplined. It is not a checklist item to prove faithfulness. It is an intentional pause where you stop carrying what was never meant to follow you into sleep. It is a prayer of trust, not effort. A prayer that says, I have done what I can today, and I release the rest. What makes this prayer different is that it respects limits. It acknowledges that you are human, that some things remain unfinished, that some answers did not arrive, and instead of forcing closure through understanding, it chooses closure through surrender. That choice changes the emotional tone of rest. When you do not release before sleep, tomorrow begins mid-sentence. Your mind wakes up already continuing yesterday's concerns, but when you close the day intentionally, tomorrow begins clean, not empty, but lighter. You are no longer dragging the weight of what could not be controlled. This prayer is not about gaining something new. It is about laying something down. It is about trusting that God can work with what you release more effectively than you ever could by holding on to it overnight. It is about acknowledging that rest itself is an act of faith. Faith is not only expressed through action. Sometimes it is expressed through stopping, through letting go, through allowing God to work while you sleep instead of insisting on staying mentally awake. This prayer honors that kind of faith. This prayer closes the day so tomorrow does not begin burdened. It draws a clear line between what belongs to today and what can wait. It creates a boundary your heart needs in order to rest deeply. This prayer is about laying things down, not picking more up. Before the prayer itself, something needs to slow down. Not your thoughts first, but your body. Your body has been holding tension all day, often without permission. Shoulders tight, jaw clenched, breathing shallow. You cannot carry a restless body into rest and expect peace to follow. The heart follows the body more often than we realize. Right now, there is nothing you need to decide, nothing you need to solve. The mind has a habit of negotiating at night, replaying scenarios, planning responses, trying to gain control over things that cannot be controlled from a bed in the dark. That effort is exhausting, and it does not produce clarity. It only delays rest. Let the breathing slow, not forced, not counted, just slower than it was a moment ago. Each breath is a signal to your nervous system that it can stand down. You are safe enough to rest. The day is done. You survived it. Whatever remains unfinished will not benefit from you staying tense. As the body softens, the mind follows. Thoughts may still appear, but you do not need to chase them. Let them pass without engagement. You are not ignoring them. You are choosing not to carry them into sleep. That choice is an act of wisdom, not avoidance. This is not meditation. It is surrender. There is a difference. Meditation often seeks control of the mind. Surrender releases control altogether. It acknowledges that some things are beyond your reach tonight, and that is acceptable, even good, especially before sleep. Your heart does not need more input right now. It needs permission to stop striving, to stop analyzing, to stop holding tension as if rest must be earned. Rest is not a reward for productivity. It is a requirement for wholeness. As you let the body relax, you create space for trust. Trust that you do not have to stay alert to be responsible. Trust that God does not need your anxiety to keep things from falling apart. Trust that nothing important will be lost if you rest. This is the threshold, the moment where effort gives way to peace, where the day ends, not with collapse, but with intention. And from this place, prayer becomes natural, not rushed, not heavy, simply honest. Now, let's pray. God, I place this day into your hands now, not because I understand everything that happened, but because I don't need to carry it anymore. I release the moments that went well and the ones that didn't, the words I said and the words I wish I had said differently, the things I controlled and the things that were never mine to control. I give you what remains unfinished, the conversations without closure, the problems without answers, the prayers that are still open. I stop trying to resolve them tonight. I trust that you are able to hold what I cannot, even while I sleep. If I am carrying worry, I release it. If I am carrying regret, I place it down. If fear is lingering in the quiet, I acknowledge it and choose not to feed it. I do not deny what I feel, but I refuse to let it rule my rest. Cover my mind with peace that does not argue with thoughts, but settles beneath them. Let anxious ideas lose their urgency. Let racing thoughts slow naturally. Guard my heart from replaying what no longer needs attention tonight. I trust you with tomorrow, with what I will face, with what I do not yet know how to handle. I do not need to prepare myself through tension. I prepare myself through trust. While I rest, you remain awake. While I release control, you remain faithful. Restore what has been drained today, not only my body, but my spirit. Let rest reach deeper than sleep. Let it touch the places where I've been holding pressure without realizing it. Renew my strength quietly, without effort. As I sleep, work in ways I cannot see. Align what feels scattered. Bring clarity where confusion has settled. Heal what has been strained. And if answers are not ready, give me peace instead. Tonight, I choose rest over worry, trust over control, surrender over striving. I allow myself to sleep knowing I am held, protected, and not alone. I rest now. Let yourself stay in this quiet for a moment. There is nothing left to do now. You have placed the day where it belongs. If your body feels heavier in a good way, if your breathing is slower, if your thoughts feel less urgent, that is a sign of release, not weakness. You are safe to rest. You do not have to stay alert to be responsible. You do not have to rehearse tomorrow to be prepared. The most faithful thing you can do right now is rest. God does not measure you by how much you worry. He meets you in stillness. If there are thoughts that try to return, let them pass without engagement. You are not pushing them away. You are allowing them to settle without attaching meaning. Peace is not the absence of thoughts. It is the absence of struggle with them. Nothing important will be lost tonight. No opportunity will disappear because you slept. No prayer will expire because you rested. God is working even as your body recovers. The world does not depend on your wakefulness. Your well-being does depend on your rest. Trust that what you released is now held. Trust that what you cannot solve tonight does not require your attention until morning. Trust that you are allowed to be human, limited, and still deeply cared for. Let your muscles soften. Let your jaw relax. Let your mind drift without direction. This is not giving up. This is restoring what allows you to show up tomorrow with clarity instead of exhaustion. You are allowed to rest now. You can come back to this moment again, not because you need a routine, but because nights often ask for the same kind of care. Some days will be lighter, others will leave more behind. When the weight follows you into the quiet, returning to prayer like this is a way of choosing rest instead of carrying everything alone. You do not need to pray perfectly. You do not need to feel anything dramatic. You only need honesty and a willingness to stop holding what the day added. Each night you return, you teach your heart that rest is safe and surrender is allowed. Over time, that changes how nights feel and how mornings begin. If this space helps you, stay connected to it, not out of obligation, but because peace grows through repetition. When nights feel heavy again, you will know where to come. When sleep feels distant, you will remember how to lay things down. Tomorrow does not need to be solved tonight. The next step does not need to be clear before sleep. What matters is that you did not carry today into rest. You closed it gently, that is enough. Rest now, tomorrow can wait.